What's up, future me? It's you from the past, making a video to remind you of the odd time that we almost got into, or maybe did get into, have been teetering on the edge of getting into that Apple ecosystem, biting into it. And maybe this video, or not maybe, I think for sure this video is also to ask a question to the other folks in the community who are iPhone users, Apple users, what their experience has been like of using that Apple ecosystem. Because I'm about to make a pretty big change up, man. Pretty big change up. And it's a weird moment for me, you know, because I've, throughout my life, post-adolescent life, I always kind of prided myself on like not being the Apple guy. Because when I was in middle school, all the way back in the day, the first iPods were coming out, and I had like classmates, friends in my classes who started getting the first iPods. I'm not sure if you guys remember them. They were like those Gen 1s. They had the silver back, and they had that little scrolling touch wheel, you know? And that's when I don't know if it was for sure the first MP3 player, but the iPod was the first MP3 player I'd seen in person. And back then I was still like, you know, burning CDs with music downloaded off of Napster and Kazaa. And I don't think that was quite LimeWire yet, but it was the Napster. Then Napster got shut down, then it was LimeWire, not LimeWire, it was Kazaa. And I remember just downloading stuff on Kazaa, burning CDs, making custom mixes, but people really just wanted like albums, you know, Ludacris, freaking The Blueprint, Illmatic. But then these MP3 players came out, and I remember thinking they were so cool, and how that was just gonna like completely upend everything, get rid of CD players. It was gonna be a new world. But then the iPods just got so trendy, and me being like you know, wannabe rebel hipster, however you call it, was like, no, I'm never gonna get an iPod. Like I'm not just gonna get what's trendy and what's cool. So I think the first MP3 player I ever got was like a Dell jukebox. I don't even know if that made it to a second generation or if that died. Maybe I got the only generation of the Dell jukebox. And yeah, and then MP3 players started to die down, and then before you knew it, we had smartphones, and smartphone era came and started. My first smartphone was the Galaxy Note 2 back, oh my God, is that 12 years ago now? Ugh, how time flies. 13 years ago, 2012. But long story short, I've never been an Apple user. I mean, I used like the first generation colored iMacs when I was in elementary school. I'm sure whoever the salesman who got those Apple contracts to get the iMacs and the Macintoshes in the school districts that I went to when I was a kid must have made hella bread off of those contracts, because every school that I went to up until high school all had Apple computers, but I never owned an Apple computer at home, and I never got an iPhone. I was an Android guy for most of my smartphone life, and then before the smartphone era, it was like Motorola flip phones. You know, remember T9 texting? You guys remember when it was illegal to text while driving? I think there was like 3 or 4 years of when I was a teenage driver, and there were no laws against texting while driving yet. That was a freaking Wild West, because we didn't have touch screens yet either, and people were like T9 texting. Though when I think back on it, like T9 texting on a Motorola flip phone was like arguably safer than texting on a smartphone, because you didn't have to look at the screen the same way you do when you're texting on a smartphone, which obviously don't do. It's not safe, but you don't have to, because you got the tactile feel of the T9 buttons, and then you can kind of memorize like, 3 pushes for a C, 4 pushes for an F, or no, it's 3 pushes for an F. You know, if you know, you know, you remember. But now I've got this S21 Ultra. This has been my daily driver for 4 years now, almost 4.5 years. And I think this is my third Samsung phone. I had the Note 2, Note 4, and then I had a pause where I got the LG V30. But now I'm at a crossroads, because since I got into this YouTube hobby and creating more on YouTube, I had to get into editing. I started using my 4-year-old PC laptop, and my 4-year-old PC laptop just could not handle editing anything on CapCut, on not Final Cut, what's the other one called, on DaVinci Resolve. You know, like I would just put stuff into there and it would chug like crazy. I could barely get through editing stuff on that laptop, so I had to upgrade computers. And after looking into the world of computers for editing video, there seemed to be this convergence around like Macs are better, and new friends that I've made through writing, like author groups, people who came from like the industry of film and TV. They were all just like, yeah, you want to edit, you got to get a Mac. Macs are what it's at. And then I learned about like this whole Apple Silicon thing, which as someone who's interested in technology and how chips work, it was like, I think learning about that and like the M series of chips, how those work, that's what really sold me on getting a Mac. You know, they created this new type of chip that has the CPU and the GPU all complex together with the RAM, and it's so much more energy efficient, and it processes video so much better. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then a deal came out on Mac computers, and that led to me 3 weeks ago biting the bullet and buying my first Mac computer, which I got right here, which, because I'm me and I'm like a rebel and I got to do things weird, I didn't just get a MacBook, I got a Mac Mini, and I have it set up to be a portable computer in this funky Frankenstein creation. So here's my Mac Mini standard. I got a 2 terabyte hard drive enclosure, SSD hard drive for data. This is a little card reader. All of these are attached to the back of a folio on a what do you call this? Why am I forgetting the word? It is Velcro. So you got Velcro, and you can see it come off. And what this folio is a 16-inch 4K OLED display, right? Pretty cool, right? So this 4K OLED display, this is functionally a portable computer. The only thing that makes it not a laptop is that it can only run while plugged in. But anywhere you go to do work of some kind, or you're gonna, like, coffee shop, library, wherever, any of those places are gonna have a place to plug in. And unless you're like chilling at the park, but if I'm chilling at the park, I don't think I'm gonna fire up a computer to edit a video. I'm just gonna read on like my phone, or enjoy being at the park and film, right? So I jumped into this Mac Mini 3 weeks ago, and I just mentioned my S21 Ultra is now 4.5 years old. Man, the roads out here suck. They gotta resurface this highway sometime soon. My robotaxi's handling it though. I love being in the robotaxi. But yeah, I got that Mac Mini, and now I'm like got my eyes open to, am I gonna go deeper into this Apple ecosystem? Is it worth it? I've like now mainlined several videos, more than several, probably like close to a dozen different videos about like the whole Apple ecosystem, the way a smartphone, the iPhone interacts with the Mac Mini and interacts with the Apple Watch. I've never been a watch wearer, but I'm like really curious. I'm becoming like Apple curious, and it almost feels like an identity crisis, going from the guy who refused to get an iPod 25 years ago, 24 years ago, to now like, I'm gonna bite into this whole ecosystem. I got the Mac Mini. Do I get the phone? Do I get the AirPods too? The watch? Like, I'm gonna need a tablet like for reading. Do I get an iPad? There's a really cool feature where the iPad can work as a second monitor for the Mac Mini, like this thing called Sidecar. I don't know, future me. I mean, well, you'll know if we've made this jump. The next generation of the iPhone comes out on, they're saying in September. It's July now. So will I make a decision in 2 months if it's worth it to upgrade? I mean, not just upgrade, it's really switch over from the Android, the Samsung and Android that I've known and loved, to Apple. And how does Apple, does it get along with all the stuff that I have in Google Drive, Google Documents, Gmail, etc.? Jury's still out. I mean, there are times where like the password manager in the Mac Mini and the password manager in my my Chrome login, you could tell that they don't 100% get along. So, future me will have figured this out long before at some point when he starts looking back on this. But to anyone else who might be watching, any of my other friends in this DJI Action 5 vlogging community, help me, tell me, what are your experiences with the Apple ecosystem? Is it worth it? Is the experience of the Mac like greatly amplified? Is it really improved that much when you have the iPhone and when you have the iPad? I mean, clearly I'm going to need an ultra portable computing, like a battery powered computing option. I don't really see myself doing video editing while I'm like on a battery, but I do want a new like reader to read more books, because I want to get into reading a lot more books, and that's what I'm looking at the iPad for. So iPad and Mac Mini, this gets pretty nice. I don't know. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what your opinion is, if you have any advice or any direction that you think I should take, because as it is right now, I'm looking at like iPhone, iPad, AirPods, maybe the watch, maybe, I don't know, I'm not 100% certain. There's that feature in the watch where like you can like flick the watch, or the watch automatically unlocks your Mac, so you don't need to type in your password every time you log in. That seems really cool. And some of the health tracking stuff on the watch seems pretty cool. It could be redundant with this Oura Ring that I already have, but I've heard that the Oura Ring also integrates really well with the Apple Health stuff. Anyways, these are just my thoughts as a non-Mac guy who's now Apple curious. Let me know. And say what's up to mom and dad, future me. Peace.